guys. So I'm driving, I can't look at you, but I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't want to kill myself or anybody else. So Craig and I are moving. We are buying our first house. It's legit our very first house. And I couldn't help but think about where the hell we were 2 years ago. Like, it was just like 2 years ago, I was living in this tiny apartment in someone's basement with only my bedroom and my son's bedroom. My daughter had to share a room with us. My stepdaughter had to sleep on the couch, right? Like on the weekends she was there. And like, that's like I had no dishwasher, I had no washer and dryer, I had to ask permission for a washer and dryer, right? Like, to go wash my laundry. And I was working as a nanny, making $400 a week, and I was going to school, like part-time, full-time, off and on, doing stuff like that. And it is so weird for me to sit here, like, in this moment, like, we're purchasing our very first house, and it's like a $400,000 house. And in my town, like, back then, I used to think like a $400,000 house was like this huge mansion. It would be like the greatest house on the planet. And it's a regular house. And it's so weird to just think about, like, how far we can go and how fast it happens when we stay open, when we get close. Like, I'm just going to share wicked vulnerable stuff with you guys right now. So, like, looking 2 years ago, I was in this like tiny apartment, and then we rented a house, and it's like this really old house. This really amazing, wonderful guy lived in it before us, but it's like this really old, super like grandpa house. But we all fit in it, and it was big compared to our apartment, which was really amazing, and the land is really beautiful. And now we're finally purchasing our first home. And it's not in California or Hawaii on some beach and, you know, this tropical whatever thing that I guess is kind of like the thing that coaches are supposed to do, which is kind of funny. But guess what? It's our first home 2 years into starting my business, and it fits everybody in my family. Everybody fits in it, and the kids love it. The kids are excited about it. And I just am so grateful, like, looking at, like, how did this happen? And thinking about all the women who are at where I was a year ago, or even maybe 2 years ago, and are just trying to understand, like, how does this happen? And so I've decided that I'm just going to help people understand how to get there. And I don't really care if that slows down the sales of my business or not, because that's not what this is about for me. It's like, I know what it feels like to be there. And girl, you deserve a freaking dishwasher. Right? Like, I don't know if you have a dishwasher or not, but you freaking deserve one, and a washer and dryer, and rooms for all your children, and to be debt free and not be so stressed out about debt, and to be able to go somewhere tropical when you're in the middle of freaking 5 months of crazy ass winter, and you're having, you know, a little bit of seasonal depression because you're in the middle of friggin' winter and everything's gray and cold and crappy. Or maybe you already live somewhere nice, but you just don't get that time to rest and recoup and be with your family and enjoy life and feel like you're safe and everything's gonna be okay. But here's what I want to tell you, like, girl, it's gonna be okay. I promise, it really is gonna be okay. And so I'm just gonna give you guys some crap and tell you, like, this is how, right? Like, when I lived in the apartment, I made my first investment with something that resonated with me. Like, I knew where I was stuck. I knew that I was terrified that if I let anybody help me, all the balls that I had in the air were gonna fall. And like, I knew that. So I wasn't gonna let somebody help me. So I found someone who was talking about, you need to let somebody help you, and started to help me, like, see through the fog of what would my life look like if anybody supported me for anything. Like, if I just let someone support me for anything, and I'm not even talking about just having to hire a mentor or coach, that's what I did, but I'm just talking about, like, maybe you need to have a cleaner or a nanny for 5 hours a week, or maybe you just need to say no to some of the obligations. Like, just where do you deserve support, right? So, like, I did my first, like, kind of cheap online course, and then decided I wanted to become a health coach. So then I went to Health Coach Institute. That was my first investment. And I went there, and really I went there because I was in a neuro program in college, and like, it wasn't working. Like, I was like, this is not how people heal. This is not how to thrive. Like, there's no way working in this medical industry right here in this hospital. Like, no freaking way. This isn't it. Like, I'm not doing all this work to have that life. No way I'm working that hard to have a life I don't even want. I'm gonna pull over so I can see you guys. Makes sense. Like, why are we working so hard for a life that we don't even want, that we don't even care about? So I joined the Health Coach Institute, and then got my certification as a health coach, and then I started to take better care of myself. That was the first thing that happened. Like, I was just around an environment where people were like taking good care of themselves, and it was like cool and normal to be taking care of yourself. Emma, one of my new clients, is on here. Hey girl, love you. So I did that, and then as I was doing that, right, like I started sniffing out like, okay, whatever I got here wasn't going to get me where I needed to go. It helped me so much, right? Like, I learned to take care of myself, take that time I needed to take care of myself. And once I could like see like, oh, this is all the stuff that's required for me to take care of myself, it was like naturally relationships and situations around me were required to change, because I was no longer willing to tolerate things being the way they were, right? Like, it became a must that these things had to shift. They were required to shift. So because I was taking better care of myself, and it was kind of like I calmed down enough to be able to see what the hell was going on around me, I required the things around me to change. And so slowly things started to change. The guilt that I felt about like, I'm supposed to take care of my family and my parents and blah, blah, blah. Like, I could barely even take care of me and my kids, right? Like, my stepdaughter didn't have a place to sleep for that period of time, right? So like, not okay. I had to do something about this, which meant that I had to kind of like steal my time back and steal my like mental energy back. And I had to go through the process of learning, how do I not keep feeling so guilty that I can't save everybody, that I can't fix everything for everybody, which was this BS story that I had, like it was all my job, like this illusion that it was my job to like take care of everyone. Somehow everything fell on me. And if I wasn't doing that, that I was bad. I was a bad sister, bad daughter, bad girlfriend, bad whatever, bad mother, right? Bad everything. And I had to go through the journey of starting to let that go. So what did I do? I found someone who did that. I found someone who had gone through the journey and was talking about the kind of thing I know I needed to learn. And then after that, it was like, okay, now I need to step into this place where I'm making income for my business, right? So I didn't know, like, I don't know how to make a sale to a person. I was a nanny and a waitress for my whole life, right? Like the most elite job I ever had was being a manager at the Marriott. Right? And that was only because a girlfriend of mine worked there. That's why she hired me as a manager. I had no idea what I was doing, and I was a total fucktard when I was a kid. Like, I was just drinking all the time and being a retard. I was trying to just escape pain, just tons and tons of pain all the time, right? Like, whatever got the pain to go away is basically what I did. And it's smart that I did that, because I made it that far, right? I made it all the way to the place where I was able to start seeing, how do I have something more? How do I get something more for myself? So then I started sniffing out like, okay, I can see that I'm going to have to learn some skills here. Like, I need to learn the skill of like helping other people in a way where I'm calling them to more, or I'm having to make the sale. Like, what is the sales thing, and how do I run a business, and what the heck do I do with this technology stuff? And in the beginning, I knew nothing, like not a single thing. I think so many people think like the only way to be successful is if you already had something. Like, if you came, there's two different stories. Like, if you come from a good family, then you know, you can be successful. Or I also have people who believe I have to go through tons of horrible, crazy crap like you, Mandy, or else if I didn't go through all that, then I don't have a story and nobody's gonna resonate with me. Like, nobody's gonna sign with me because I don't have some horrible story for them to resonate with, right? So it's like, we can choose to look like, do you see how it's just excuses? Because like, oh, I didn't come from a good family, so now I don't have success. Or I didn't go through so much fucked up stuff like you, Mandy, so now I don't have success. Neither one of them matter. You don't need to have anything to be able to do this. Like, do you see? Like, I was just that regular girl who was like all crazy and couldn't figure shit out, and I just was desperate to make the pain go away and desperate to let my kids grow up in a world where they weren't going through that level of pain. Like, and I was just like, whatever I needed to do to figure it out, I was gonna do. So, okay, I don't know how to do that whole sales thing. Like, I don't know how to get other people, right? Like, I grew up in a world, like the military, like all of my life up until then had been really consisted of people around me that didn't say yes to themselves, that didn't have the things they wanted in life, that didn't feel worthy to have the life they wanted and to pull in the resources to take care of themselves. So, you know, coming from that place, it was like, people are going to pay what for them to like invest in themselves? Like, that didn't seem realistic. So I knew I had work to do mentally around there. So I found a resource where I could start learning about that. Then I learned, oh, there's this high level coach, like this Tony Robbins guy, look at him on stage, like he's doing these intervention type things, like what is that and how do you do that? So I started learning about NLP and how to actually rewire the neural pathway, which was great because I was already in neuroscience, so I knew about the brain and I knew scientifically how it worked, but I didn't understand energetically or business wise how any of that crap works. So I started to learn about that stuff, and right around that time is when I started making my first income as a coach. So I had like enough pieces in place where, you know, the bottom line is I cared so much about people and I was rooting for them and I wanted to do good so much that my lack of having any kind of skill set around it didn't stop me from making something in the beginning, because people trusted me or they knew that I really cared about them or they knew I wanted them to do good. They just knew that intrinsically about me. So people were starting to join and were starting to work with me. And then my peers around me were kind of like, hey, I don't understand how you're having success in your business. Like, you just made $4,000 this month. Or like, how did you do that? Like right out of the gate. And I was like, oh, okay. And I started looking at my peers and like what pieces were missing for them. Right? And so when I started looking at them and was like, okay, right? Like back then it was a little bit codependent. Like I can't leave them behind. I have to take care of them too, which is fine because that's where I was then and it worked for me then and it helped me get to the next level where I could learn the new things. Right? So I started learning like, okay, how can I take care of them and take them with me so I'm not leaving anybody behind because I love them and they're amazing and they're going to help everybody and then their kids are going to be better and grandkids, it's going to be like generations of change, and I like had to do it. So then I started just tuning into how did they need help, what was going on for them, how could I get them massive results. So all along the way I was reaching out and getting support for things that I knew, and it was hard and it took brave action because I was used to making $400 a week. So making like a couple $1,000 investment or even a few $100 investment was really scary. Like, how do I know that I'm going to get this back? How do I know this isn't crazy and retarded? I walked away from school after I was $40,000 in debt. I just walked away. Like, this shit ain't it. Whatever this is not it. This is not the thing. It's not the thing that's going to heal me and make me light up. And it's not the thing that's going to heal everybody else and make them light up. They're not going to get there this way. So I just walked away. And for so long, people in my life thought I was just like, oh, that's what you do. You just bounce around. You just don't stay committed to something. And they even made comments like, when it gets hard, you walk away. Like, you should have a PhD by now as many times as you've changed your career. But I knew better. It didn't matter what they said because I knew. I knew that what I was doing, like first I started at community college back in Massachusetts. Then I moved to Rhode Island. I went to a bigger, better community college at CCRI. And then I moved from that to a state college at Rick. And then once I realized like, oh, look, I can, like, oh my God, I'm at a state college and I'm getting A's. Like, look, I'm smart. Like, I can do this. So then I went to a university. Like, oh my God, I just got accepted to URI, a massive university. I'm in the neuro program at a university. And every moment I saw an opportunity to up-level and believe in myself more, I actually took that step. So what it looked like on the outside to other people was like, oh, she just keeps bouncing. She doesn't know what she wants, blah, blah, blah. It's like this negative thing. But inside, there was this course I would judge myself and criticize myself or like wonder sometimes if they were right. Like, of course, I'm human, right? Like, maybe I just am never going to settle. Maybe I'm never going to figure this out. But there was another part of me who knew how smart I was and who knew every time I see that little, I call it like, I visualize it like a circle that I could just step into. Every time that started to open even a tiny bit, I would leap right through it to the next level, right? So I saw this opportunity to do coaching and help really transform people's lives that way. And I knew that I could figure it out. What I realized that I think is different than everybody else was that I knew I couldn't do it by myself. Because how could everybody around me told me it was crazy and stupid and that it was not going to work and it was unrealistic and yada yada yada, and I was just bouncing again and whatever else. Like, what else would they say to me? Of course they would say that. They've never been a successful online entrepreneur, so why would they say anything else? They were just trying to keep me safe and trying to keep me from not being crazy Mandy. Like, just settle down and get the friggin' PhD and be happy at your neuro job at the hospital. But I wasn't going to be happy there, and I knew I had a calling on my life that was different than that, and I sniffed out something different. And it's not any different right now. Right? So like right now, I am not this like super wealthy, high level, I live in California at some sunshine, whatever beach house, right? But I'm a girl who 2 years ago was stuck in an apartment on food stamps and who's buying my first $400,000 home, taking care of my family, and they have room and space to be, and they have watched me up level and go for it, and my children are going to know what that feels like, and I get to be along with the journey with these women that are coming with me, and I watch them self-select, like right in, right? Like they come in and they find me and they join me and they come along with me, and like, what is greater than that? All right? And I look at this and I'm like, I watch so many people think like, I should be at this different place. I should be at that different place. I should be whatever, making sales all the freaking time. I should be blah, 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 whatever it is. Like, what if, this is like the whole point of this whole video right here, because I just scrolled out 7 million times, because that's what I do. What if, whoever's sending me all those hearts, I love you. Hey, Jackie, another one of my clients. Ooh, Sarah's here too. Yay, my clients are here. All right, listen. The whole point of this story is that it's actually not about like, did I pick the right person to help me? Is there like some strategic thing? Am I going to miss my opportunity? All of that is complete bullshit. You are perfectly safe. Do you want to know what actually matters? The only thing that matters, the only consistent thing throughout this entire journey for me, and that will stay true, because I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about like, I'm going to give you a glimpse into my life, where I'm at and moving forward, not just like where I was, because I think people don't do that, and I like this behind the curtains thing that I got going on. So the most important thing is that you actually care about the freaking person in front of you. Like, if you're actually thinking about the greater good of the people around you, and like your constant thought and focus is, how can I get them better results? How can I help my client? How can I help them get better results? How can I help them get to that next level? How can I help them wake up and realize what's going on? Right? Like, my constant thing I'm asking myself is like, how do I help my girls understand that they need support? You are not going to make it to 6 figures without support. You can't. Like, how the hell, that same brain that got you where you are isn't magically just going to turn over and get you to 6 figures the same year? Like, that's crazy. And it's such a challenge for me, because then people think I'm selling them. And I get that, because I would think that. So that makes sense to me, right? So that's always my constant challenge. Like, how do I get them to really, truly understand that? It doesn't have to be me. I don't give a crap. Just get the help, because you deserve to get to the 6 figures. And when you have someone who's been there and done it, you'll get there faster, right? So like, my constant question to myself is genuinely, how can I help my clients get to the next level? How can I help serve them? How can I help heal them? How can I make them focus and remember who they are and their self-worth, and like what their value is, and how incredible they are, and the gifts they have to bring to the world, and how much this world needs them? And because I focus on that, I'm naturally taken care of, right? Like clients sign up, clients come to me, people join the mastermind, people ask me how they can work with me, right? Like, and it's, I need you to understand this, right? Do you get that all that happened was, I wanted to heal myself and my brothers, my sister, my father, whoever's in my life, right? Like my mom, my husband, my whoever, like the people I love, my inner circle, like my family. I wanted to help them. I wanted to heal them. I wanted to heal myself and my own pain. I wanted to like just heal the pain. So I started digging in and digging in. I went to health coach, and then I just wanted to take my kids to the next level, and I wanted to help my peers, right? Like I just wanted to help my friends around me who were like, Mandy, I don't understand how you're making money. We're not making money. And I wanted to help them so bad. So I started learning all the things on how to help them and really tuning into what they needed, right? And then like my clients now, like, okay, how do I help them? How do I get them to the next level? Now it's like, how can I reach more people? How can I get more people served? So I'm automating some of the stuff. How can I take care of my team? How can I take my family to the next level? And it's just been a consistent, genuine love and care for other people that has brought it this far. And it's not ever going to change moving forward, because it actually really works. This is the thing that actually really works. It's genuine care. And the problem is, every single one of you, I know this about you, or you probably wouldn't be here. You actually really care, and your come from really is to serve and heal other people, yourself and the people you love and the people you're meant to reach. But we get so distracted by, how do I know it's going to work, and what are they going to think of me, and what if I look stupid? And we get so distracted with all the stuff, except for like, well, how do I build a platform, and how do I do this webinar, and how do I blah, 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 blah. None of that matters, because when you're serving other people, and when your focus and your attention truly is on, how do I help them? How do I get them to the next level? How do I serve my clients? When you make them the thing that's important, the how always ends up figuring it out on the side. Like, the how will get figured out. You will figure that out naturally, because you have people coming to you. There's flow in your business. It's happening. It's working. And the how gets really easy. Like, I don't know, maybe you'll get 3 new clients and you can hire someone to build that website and you never had to freaking worry about it. Like, I know it sounds too good to be true, but it's not. It's not, right? And I get to say that because I wasn't nobody hand shit down to me. I was the 0 to where I'm at girl. So I get to say that, and it's credible. I'm telling you what really helped me get to the next level. So now if you just look at my life where it's at now, like, okay, we're buying our very first home, like staying here in Rhode Island, and, you know, having dreams for the future, like buying our first home in Italy, and like being able to have the kids travel around the world. It's really all about the kids still. And it's about being able to reach more clients. And like, I'm global now, but like if we can get more global stuff going on to start reaching pockets of other women and other people and other coaches in different places where there's different needs and stuff like that, that's incredible. More reaching, more healing, more like helping other people to have success and get their first freaking washer and dryer, right? So right now we're doing that. I've invested in a higher level mentor. And so now I start to get to like these peekings into like the multi 7-figure life, and what is that like, and what is required, and what are they doing? I see some multi 7-figure people that are like just constant sales and sales and sales. And I'm like, oh, maybe that's what I need to do. I'm like, if that helps my clients get to the next level, that's what I'll do. Bet your ass. I will sell you every single day if that's what's going to help you get to the next level. If it's not what I'm going to do. Right? So what else are other multi 7-figures people? Oh, like, look, there's people that are actually just giving massive, massive tons of value. As they do that, people naturally start to come draw closer to them. And then the go-getters will start to actually kind of like chase you to see what you have. Does that make sense? So they'll start to be like, whoa, you give so much value. When they get to the spot where I was, where I'm less like, screw it. I need someone to just teach me every single week how to do this. Then you'll reach out, right? Like you'll reach out and find out. So there's multiple different ways to do it. There's not one way to do it. So thankfully at this point, right, being like whatever multi 6-figure, right? Like probably this year will be $500,000, right? So like being at this point and being like, okay, how do I get my business to the next level? Because getting my business to the next level means I'm reaching more people. I could get all caught up in like, oh my God, well, how this person's doing it that way and this person's doing it this way. And like, how do I know which one to do? And how do I know which one will work? Guess what? The question's always the same. What's going to help my clients get to the next level? What's going to help me reach more people to help heal more people so that more people can have financial stability and can have like self-worth, can feel like I'm worthy to let my voice be heard. Like one of my clients on here, I'm not going to say her name, just recently like let her voice be heard for the first time. Like, no, don't tell me that like, oh my God, these numbers in the finances matter. No, they don't. Being part of a tiny part of this woman's long journey and being present with her and being able to get a glimpse into her first time letting her voice be heard, that's freaking amazing. And when you focus on that stuff, that brings so much energy to the table. And guess what a natural byproduct of that is? Finances. You will make lots of money in order to, Christy, a little over 2 years, just at 2 years. She asked how long I've been in business. Right? So that's the thing that will accelerate your business. The how doesn't freaking matter. And it took me so long to accept that. I really fought that for a long time. Like, yeah. You're only saying that to me because you don't know how to tell me how to do it. Like that's your cop-out because you don't know how to tell me how to get there. Right? So because of this, like naturally, like in the ACA groups that I have going on, there's a new one coming up in May 1st. Right? In these groups where it's like step-by-step business building, I tell my clients the how. Like this is how you do it step by step. Literally step by step, paced, this is how you do it. Because I know that's what people are desperate to hear. So that pattern starts to calm down. They're freaking out and their fear about that starts to calm down and they can hear the real stuff, right? The real stuff that's actually going to get them to 6 figures and 7 figures. Like that's the stuff. It's about like, are you actually focused on service and focused on like, how do I get to the next level? How can this work? Or are you focused on, oh my God, how do I know this is going to work? What if I sound stupid? What if I blah, 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 right? Like, how do I do this? And how do I do that? You don't have to worry about how. I promise. As you grow into the woman it took to show up and serve your audience and believe in your worth and let your voice be heard, the how gets really, really freaking easy. Like, which one's harder? To figure out how to speak your truth and let yourself be heard, or to how to like build a sales page, right? Like, give me a break. Of course you can figure out how to build a sales page. You could probably sit down for 4 hours in front of the computer and have a sales page all built in front of it when you've never done anything. And don't tell me you can't, because I did it. I built my whole website and I'm not a website builder. I don't know tech anything, right? So you can let go of that so much and start to give a little more energy. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just, right? Like you give a little more energy. And I'm sure in 2 years when I look back at that, I'm going to chuckle at like where I was still showing up doing these things. And then 2 years after that, I'm going to chuckle again, because when I look at who I was 2 years ago, I'm like, whose life was that? Who was that girl? It's so crazy. And I can't wait until 2 years when I look back at this and I'm chuckling at this even, right? Because we just keep growing and elevating and creating more of a world that we want to live in by choosing to be the person who is how we want other people to be in the world. We see a need in the world and we fill it, right? Like, that's the point. Okay, so the whole point of this is you get to just figure out and ask yourself over and over and over what's going to help your clients get to the next level. So, you know, having a step-by-step in place, which every single person I've ever talked to always wants. Every single person wants that, like having a step-by-step, like this is what we do, right? So I created a step-by-step program, but it's not the thing. It makes it easier, of course. And like my tech girl's in there. So if anyone has tech problems, she can ask the tech. Like my masterminds have access to my tech person, like my assistant. They can ask any questions they want so that you don't have to waste time there. That's not the thing though. It's not the thing. The thing is being able to stay focused on serving and what you're bringing to the world and what your deepest message is and what actually lights you up and makes you passionate so that you want to do what you do and you bring energy and people learn to trust you and want to hear your voice. They want to be closer to you. You have something of worth to say because your thoughts are of worth, right? You're not just focused on yourself and what all the things that could go wrong. You're focused on creating a better world and filling needs in the world, and that's where you come from. And you can't tell me that of course your business would be wildly successful. How could it not be? Like, life supports life. You'll be taken care of as you do this. Like, of course you'll be taken care of. All right, so that was my whole point on this. And to give you guys a little insight to, I don't know, stuff nobody ever talks about. Like, I guess you're not supposed to talk about how much the house is you're taking and where you're at in the journey. And if I'm not like some crushing it coach who's living on the beach, maybe I'm not supposed to be relevant. But I just think that's crap. And I just think you're relevant, sister. Wherever you are in the journey, in your coaching or in your entrepreneur or in your life, whatever it is, like, you're relevant. And where you're at is super relevant and exactly where you're supposed to be. And you're perfectly right on track. And you just get to sniff out the thing that's going to let you go to the next level. And you can choose to opt into it or you can choose to stay where you're at. And that's the thing, right? But as long as we're not pretending that we're serving, but really we're just staying focused on fear, and it's no judgment. It's just like, what's going to help you get out of that? What do you need to consistently be able to shift out of the self-focused into service, right? Like, what's going to get you there? This is why I do weekly coaching with my clients, right? Like every week, so we can stay in it week after week after week, right? That's what we do in the mastermind. There's a point to it. There's a reason why we do that, because you get to build the myelin staying focused on the right thing. It's like having a soccer coach who teaches you how to kick right. Every time you kick it incorrectly, he corrects you. So you never learn the bad habits. You sort of stay on track with the thing that gets you to the next level. So I promise there's no magical thing that you need to have. There's no innate ability that you need to have. The only thing you get to do is question yourself on how you get to help your clients get to the next level. Stay focused on that. And then when you feel a prompting, like you're smart. You wouldn't have gotten this far without it. You're going to sniff out something like, okay, this is a skill I need to learn. I'm getting stuck here. Okay, great. You're smart enough to figure out where you're stuck. What are you doing to get unstuck from there? What resource are you pulling in to get to the next level for that, right? Like, if you're not going to get unstuck. You're just going to stay there because the same brain that got you into this problem can't magically get you out of it. Make sense? Okay, that is all. My husband is definitely wondering where I am. I just randomly pulled over. And I'm so excited to move to our new house. I'm going to start doing a lot more Instagram stories and Facebook stories just to like be present with you guys and be with you. I love seeing my clients and my my other peers and my friends. I love seeing like day to day what they're doing. So because I love seeing that, I'm just going to start doing that with you guys too. So now that I have a team in place, I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. So I'll be sure to send pictures of the new house and my little kids being happy in the new house. I'm so excited. All right. Love you guys.